Heyo, this is Dash, and today I'm going to do something a lot different. Usually, you guys see me post the video. Victor has asked me I want to say at some point, but he asked me a while ago to show the process of me editing a video. So I'm going to edit a video that I filmed earlier this week, and I'm going to bring you guys along. So you will get this video of me editing the video as well as the video. So I'm going to turn the camera around, set it up, and hopefully film my screen while I do my edit. So sit back, I won't say enjoy, but sit back and relax and watch my process on editing a video for YouTube. Alright, so hopefully this is going to come out well enough. I have my camera set up in front of me, in line if you will, and I am trying to film what it is I'm going to be doing. So first thing I'm going to do is open up my video editing software. I use Corel Video Studio Ultimate, and this is the 2023 version. So first thing I'm going to do is open up the video editing software, and I created a working folder, and this is just recent things that I've been working on, but I'm going to open up where I put the files that I need. And this particular file, the way I have my file system set up, I have my video camera files, and I have different files set up for the different video cameras. So as I am filming and doing different things, I know that the specific software the specific files are listed under a specific camera. Anyway, my file system is not I don't separate things into dates or anything like that. I just have it in a single raw folder. And you can see there's plenty of files here. And I'm going to scroll down to the file that I'm looking for. These files are also created through the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. The naming convention has them, I won't say separated, but they go into a date format. Like this file name is the date. So if you ever wanted to look for something by a specific date, you probably could find it. All right, now I'm trying to figure out what it is that I am. All right, so this. And I filmed 2 videos on a specific day, so I have to pick and choose which files I need. So the files that I need were the ones from when I was cooking on the Big Green Egg. So that's what these are. This one, and I think this one. All right, so now I'm going to drag these files into my video editing software. And I'm just going to and it's hard for me to kind of point, but if you hover over all of these buttons, these icons, it'll tell you what these things do. This icon here says fit the project in the timeline window. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to expand my timeline. This is my timeline here. So each of these pieces is a clip, all right? And each of these pieces is a clip. And this clip so far, as it stands, the entire video is 24 minutes and 9 seconds. Now, as you get better, or as I get better at doing this, I'm hoping I can get this knocked out fairly quickly. I don't have very much to edit on this video. This video is me smoking a turkey leg. So let's get started. I just wanted to make sure that all of these clips were the clips that I needed. So I'm going to press the plus key to zoom in a little bit on my timeline. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to, let's see here. All right. So I'm kind of getting the grill torn apart. And actually, I think I kind of did this one backwards. Hey yo, this is Dash, and today I am out at the Big Green Egg. Yes, Quentin, the Big Green Egg. I'm cooking I'm going to be smoking some turkey legs. These turkey legs are a little different. These are fresh turkey legs. My wife has a coworker who has a farm, and she raised some turkeys. My wife bought one of said turkeys from a coworker. Turn the volume down just a little bit. I'm cooking some fresh turkey legs. Oh, well, I think that was... All right, so last night, after I picked up the turkey legs, and yes, this is the turkey that I talked about in the video where I cooked. What did I do? I did. All right. So I had someone a while back give me grief about saying ums and ahs. So every now and again, I try to make it a point to take them out. So I'm going to in the video where I cooked. And I'm going to zoom in a little, and I can see the sound wave. And I can split this clip and then come here to where on the I can pull out the and this is where I messed up. So what I ended up doing was I was using a hotkey, and a hotkey is just let's do this. All right. Oh, I went and undid it. Okay. A hotkey is. Let me see. What did I do? I did. All right. So I'm going to come here and hover over the place where I want to cut. I'm going to split this piece out and then hover over this next piece and split that piece as well. And then I can actually, sometimes what I do is I will take these clips and put them into I have a ums and ahs file or folder. And then every now and again, I'll just grab them all and put them into a video. So you saw me delete that clip where I cooked. I did the steak. And that was a kind of an abrasive jump. Where I cooked. I did the steak. So what I'll do is, this is transitions. And I have my favorite transitions. And this transition right here is one of my favorites. It softens up the front side and the back side of the jump cut is what that is called. So then I also will come here and I will shorten the transition to 1/3 of a second. Where I cook, I did the steaks. And you see how that it made the transition not so abrupt. In the video where I cook, I did the steaks. That video. All right, but I think my wife said, "Hey, can you vacuum seal the parts, because the turkey was cut up into pieces? Can you vacuum seal the parts? But before you vacuum seal them and freeze them, let's have something that's fresh, because we never had a fresh turkey before." All right. With that being said, I got the smoker started. Yep. So this is what I was talking about. When I was filming, I did the work on getting the smoker set up first. That's all of this, right? Me getting the fire going. And so now I'm going to put this in where I made that say, hey, that's where I did this part. All right, so let's go back, and I need to watch this to see if there was anything, I don't say crazy, but I don't know if you can see it, but my camera is on the mount that I have it on, this, it's slowly dropping down. And I didn't notice it. But I'm about to speed this clip up. All right, I don't need that. So I'm going to go into the speed setting, and we're going to bump this up to, let's say, 500. 30 seconds is usually where I will kind of cut some of these things off because you guys don't have a great attention span. And I'm going to move this clip, drag it to, and put it back here. So now it makes sense.
Turkey before. All right.
So I also have to, in here, I'm going to put my intro. So I'm going to get that back to my working folder. And
hey, yo, this is Dash. And today...
Oh, one thing I forgot. I always, and this is just my own personal thing, I never, and you see this, it just starts.
Hey, yo, this is...
If you ever notice on my videos, I always fade the beginning in. And I'm trying to grab this and put it in the beginning. And we'll drop this back, go to the beginning. Much better. All right.
Hey, yo, this is Dash. And today I am out at the Big Green Egg. Yes, Quentin, the Big Green Egg. I'm cooking I'm going to be smoking some turkey legs. These turkey legs are a little different. These are fresh turkey legs. My wife has a coworker who has a farm, and she raised some turkeys. My wife bought one of said turkeys from a coworker, and I'm cooking some fresh turkey legs.
All right, so I think.
All right,
So you see, what I try to do in the beginning of my videos is I bring you guys in, I tell you what I'm going to do, and then I kind of do a pause.
And I'm cooking some fresh
somewhere
turkey legs.
And that pause is where I'm going to split the video. And I'm going to insert my intro. So if I go back up to that working folder, and over the years, I've moved these things around so I know exactly where, of course, they are. I don't need to. I'm going to drop the intro right there.
Turkey legs. Get ready. All right, so.
And there you go. So I'm going to say smooth transition back to, I'll say real time, but smooth transition back to what we're going to do.
I got the smoker started.
All right, so now there's some dead time from me. I was going to get the lighter. So I'm going to stop this right there where you can see me. I'm going to split it. I'm going to play again until I get back. I had to get the lighter and the fire starter. So now I'm going to move my mouse to get to the point where I come back. There we go. Split this. Delete. Now, if I were doing this, I would be using the hotkeys, but I'm slowing down so that I can show you guys exactly what I'm doing. I tried to get this thing lit with the. There you go. I just picked it up. All right, set the fire kind of down and around it, or the charcoal down and around it, so it gets lit. Open it up, and I set up a time lapse. And I'm going to speed up the time lapse as well. Again, you guys don't have the attention span to really sit here. So it's time lapse. Let's do 200%. That'll be 20 seconds. Now it's dead air right now, but not to worry. What I'll do is I put background music behind it. So this part, you'll hear the background music. All right. I went and checked on it. Okay, so that part right there where I put the piece of wood in there, I'm going to slow that down. Here we go. Split. This part we're going to slow down to real time, but to the time lapse time, so it's not twice as fast. So you can see me building everything up. All right, there we go. I'm done. So
And now it's been about a half an hour or so.
All right, so let me see what I said right before, so I can determine.
I got the smoker started.
All right. And again, another transition. I'm going to transition from the time lapse to me standing there talking. I'm going to say hopefully it doesn't crash.
And now it's been about a half an hour or so. And I'm out here. And I'm going to go ahead and get my turkey legs onto the cooker. This brine,
all right, so I'm going to make this so I can see more of my timeline. I'm going to move over. And here's a good habit to get into. I'm going to save this. Now, actually, I'll be honest with you, I started working on this the other day. So, yes, I'm going to replace the file that I started the other day. But I'm starting over so you guys can see.
I'm going to go ahead and get my turkey legs onto the cooker. This brine, I actually brined these turkey legs overnight. The brine was a quart of water. Since I only had 2 turkey legs, I just did a quart of water.
And actually, I'm going to, like this is some of the things that I'll say drive me crazy. It's like how, what do I want to do, right? So I'm going to put the brine on the screen.
A quart of water, a quarter of a cup of kosher salt, coarse kosher salt.
All right, so now these are titles. And of course, again, I have favorites. So I'm going to take a favorite that I have already, and I'm going to build on this as I start.
Since I only had 2 turkey legs, I just did a quart of...
All right, so I'm going to zoom in so that I can pop this up on the screen as soon as I say it.
I just did a quart.
So I'm going to move this down to where it lands over top of where I said quart.
A quart.
All right. Now I'm going to edit this. All right. All right, so we have one quart. Ooh. One quart of water. And you're going to see I'm going to layer this, and it'll make sense in a second when I start to...
A quart of...
All right.
A quart of water.
And now this is where I started saying the next word. So we're going to bring this and let's figure out where I'm going to put this in the grand scheme of things. So let's center it to the left. And then I'm going to copy this.
A quarter of a cup of kosher salt, coarse.
And let's see. So if I double click on this, I can see how long this video clip is. And I know it might be kind of difficult for me, or I can see the length of this clip. So I'm going to move this to a different layer. And I'm, because of the fact that I'm not good at teaching how to, like, what this is, and I know a lot of these things, each of these lines is a different track. So let's say they were audio track, but in this, there's a video track, an overlay, a 2 titles, voice track, and music track. I'm going to take this where I said water, and I'm going to bump it out to 3 seconds. So I just manually changed the time, the length of that title.
A quart of water, a quarter of a cup.
And because of the fact that I kind of was dragging my feet and saying what it is I was saying, I can put this here and
of kosher salt, coarse kosher salt.
All right. So we're going to drag this out to the next pause, basically. And let's double click on it and get down. So we had an asterisk, 1/4 cup. Kosher. Quarter cup of coarse kosher salt. Now I'm going to reposition this to make sure that it is where it needs to be, and then we'll start from here.
Kosher salt, coarse kosher salt. I did 1/4 cup of brown sugar.
All right, now I'm going to split this right about here where I start saying the next thing. So now we're going to copy this and move this to where that clip ends. And this next piece that I said was 1/4 cup. So let's do an asterisk. 1/4. Oh, this is where I notice where I make mistakes. Cup. Brown sugar and a pack. All right. So I'm going to reposition this. This is the alignment tool, or the alignment portion of the titles. So in the title, there's different menus, and this is different styles. If I wanted a different border, border, shadows, backdrop. If I wanted to fill it with text, I could fill it with text here, and usually I'll sometimes make it like 5, and then I'll change this color to black. Typically is how I do it. And then I might change the style to a curved rectangle edge. It just makes it a little softer, but it depends on my mood. So today I'm going to put no backdrop. If I was going to put motion where it like flew into, like dropped into the screen, or you can see some of these options here, but I'm not going to do any motion today. Again, I'm just, no motion and no effects. So mainly this first style, it'll tell you, bold, italicized, underline, left, right, center, the size, the color, line spacing, character spacing. If I were to change this number, it would put it on the tilt. So I don't have it selected, but if I select it and mess with this, it would tilt. All right, but I'm not going to put it on the tilt today. So let's put this at 0. Okay, but the alignment is what I'm worried about. So this will align to the top left, the bottom right, the right center. So I have this aligned to the left center. So we are going to make sure that this looks okay as it transitions.
1/4 of water, 1/4 cup of.
And you can see the smooth, let's say, transition, but
salt.
How it works.
I did 1/4 cup of.
Now, as I'm looking at this, and it's kind of hard for me to point this out, but you'll see when the words are kind of on top of each other, and I'm actually going to change this from left center to left bottom to left lower, or lower left, or bottom left. There we go. All right, so we got 1/4 water, and I'm going to increase my line spacing to 120, and it just spaces the character spacing. Sorry. As the character spacing, it just, I don't know, the letters kind of are running on top of each other for me, too much for me. And this is one of those things where I need to change it in my favorites, but I never do. So I just go through and change this every single time. and I'm used to it. All right, so now this one, we're going to pop it down to bottom left again, and we'll go back. And this is what makes the video editing process so time consuming.
A quart of water, a quarter of a cup of kosher salt, coarse kosher salt. I did a quarter of a cup of
brown sugar packed.
Of brown sugar, and then I did basically half a quarter of a cup.
So I guess that's about 1/8 of a cup, but.
And then I did basically half a quarter of a cup of white sugar.
And I'm going to split this again, and we're going to take this and copy it, put it here, stretch it out to where I stopped talking, and we're going to add another line. That's going to be asterisk, and it's 1/8 cup. A quarter or 1/8 of a cup of white sugar, and I'm going to change the alignment to lower left
of white sugar.
And let's make sure this looks okay.
And then I did basically half a quarter of a cup of white sugar. Then I also added some.
Copy and put this here.
Some rosemary seasoning. Some rosemary seasoning, just to kind of break it up and give me a little bit.
And it was just a palm full of rosemary. Of rosemary seasoning. And I have to change the alignment again because this is too low. So as I'm looking at this box here, and when I click here, it gives me this edge. Hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know what's going to pick up the camera, but I try to have things inside of this rectangle here just to help make sure things are where they need to be on the screen. All right.
It's just some rosemary seasoning, just to kind of break it up and give me a little different flavor. But these turkey legs look pretty good so far. All right, I'm gonna get them out here.
So now, while I'm filming, I'm also thinking of what I need to do for a thumbnail. So most of the time, I pull a thumbnail from the video, and this clip here is where I'm going to edit, take a snapshot, and I might come back and use that as a thumbnail for later.
These turkey legs look pretty good so far. All right, I'm gonna get them out here. I'm just gonna let them hang out.
And this is a rather uneventful
I'm not gonna do anything
cook.
fancy. You saw I put where that piece of wood that I put.
Now, if I were adding a bunch of like memes or other like inlays or overlays, I would just, split the clip and then go find the clip and then drop it into. Now, of course, over the, I'm saying years, but over the years or over time.
These turkey legs look pretty good so far.
Here, let's do this. Let's add one in for this.
These turkey legs look pretty good so far.
All right. So I'm going to put a split in here. And I have a folder where I keep a lot of the memes that I have, let's say, accumulated over time. So here's Kevin Hart.
Good so far.
Somebody come look at this. Look at this.
Let's come and look at this. All right, I'm gonna get them out here.
So that would be if I were to have, but maybe we'll save that for a little later. But there's, as I say different things or as I talk about different things, I put the memes into a folder where I can, you know, basically call them back and pick them up really quickly.
I'm gonna get them out here. I'm just gonna let them hang out. Not gonna do anything fancy. You saw I put where that piece of wood that I put in the charcoal was apple wood from my apple tree that is no longer with us. And
now if I wanted to,
where that piece of wood that I put, you saw I put where that piece of wood that I put in the charcoal,
I can split this. And one of the other things too, as I'm splitting and cutting and moving and adding and things like that, what happens is if I add a clip into, let's say I add a clip here, the timeline will move, but this timeline will stay still. So what I have to be mindful of is if I make an edit in the beginning of the video, then I am sure that this part won't change. And that, I'll say that'll make sense, but all right, so this, I can split this, and I'm going to copy this clip and put it right here.
So far. All right,
and that's the wrong spot. So we're going to move it to here. But you saw how this shifted, but this stayed the same. So if I were to take this clip and add it into the beginning, I would need to make sure that this stays the same. In this video editing software, what you can do is you can lock all of these things together. And that's what this does. This, when you do that, it will ripple editing. So if I were to take this clip and move it to here, you'll see this. Oh, should work. Why didn't it work? All right, so let's try this again. Yes, it worked that time. Where this moved to the same, it moved away from there. So it didn't cause a problem. But let's put this back where I had it. And I'm just using the mouse, and I'm clicking and hovering and holding and moving different things.
Cool. Was applewood.
Let's see.
In the charcoal was applewood from.
And I'm going to slow this down so you guys can see it a little better. So let's do 50%. Actually, let's do 25%. It was.
That piece of wood that I put in the charcoal was applewood from.
All right, so now because of the fact that it's a callback, and what I will do is I'll put a just a
charcoal was applewood from my apple tree that is no longer with us. And I'm just going to let.
So I'm expanding the
hang
timeline.
out. I really don't have much of a plan. I don't have a timetable. I really am just kind of getting this prepared so that we can have some turkey legs. My wife and I can have.
All right, so let's just keep in mind, I've been at this already for half an hour, and I'm 3 minutes into the video. And I'm not even doing any heavy, serious editing.
And I'll probably have some turkey legs just to kind of try and munch on. I can't remember the last time I smoked turkey legs, but the last time I did it, they didn't turn out kind of like a county fair or, you know, like a state fair.
There's another and a pause.
Here.
So I'm going to split this clip out. And the good thing about this is I can see the sound files, and I'm just going to delete that.
Like a state fair, turkey legs would be, or like the turkey legs you would get.
So again, this jump cut.
Like a state fair, turkey legs would.
I'm going to put a transition in there to soften it up a little bit. And I know that if my cursor is before where the transition is, I can just double click on the transition and it'll automatically go where I need
like
it to be.
Fair, turkey legs would be, or like
so much better.
Turkey legs you would get from like an amusement park or something like that, like a Six Flags or even Disney World. So I'm hoping that with the brine and just letting them smoke, I have no timetable for this cook. I'm just going to let them smoke, check on them. I'll be back out here to check on this in about an hour. All right. See you guys in a bit.
All right. And then one of the other things, too, when I'm editing, of course, it takes time for me to end the clip and then turn off the camera. So that's a lot of what I end up cutting out.
Check on them. I'll be back out here to check on this in about an hour. All right. See you guys in a bit.
All right. So now I will come in here and give myself a few seconds, and I'll split this, delete. Now there is a hotkey or a fancy key to end the clip where that was, and usually that's what I would be doing and using the hotkeys, but I'm trying to slow my process down to make it easier for someone who's just starting and you don't know what those keys are just yet. But there is a mark in and a mark out, which would basically bookend the clip. Now, another way to edit these clips is if I double click on the clip and I did a multi-trim video, and it's actually giving me an error message because I turned on the ripple editing. So basically what it is, and let's just turn it on. Let's do multi-trim video. All right. So what happens is I can press play and then I start and stop where I want the clips. So, all right. So basically, and for whatever reason, and I think it has to do with my computer, I can't use the ripple editing or the multi-trim video any longer. It just doesn't work for my. Now, what I'm going to show you is this is the last clip where I said, hey, I'll see you guys in about an hour, and this is the hour later. So at this point, I'm going to, obviously you see I'm turning the camera on, and then I kind of get myself poised, and I start what I have to say. So I'm going to click the video, and then I'm going to use a hotkey to start the video right there. So I trimmed the video a little bit, and then I'm going to put a transition. One of the things, again, this is one of those things that you don't notice it necessarily unless I call it out or say something about it. But when I do transitions between different times, I will put like a spinning transition. So watch this.
All right. See you guys in a bit.
And you see that transition, and then I will also add a sound. So I have a background, some background sounds. And this particular background sound, this is a bamboo swing. So you can hear.
All right. See you guys in a bit. All right.
So you know the time.
I'm back outside at the Big Green Egg. You guys know I call the Big Green Egg Sammy. It's been about an hour. Figured I'd check on the temperature. My temperature is starting to actually climb. It is probably about 150 degrees or 170 degrees showing. Like I said, I'm
going to expand my timeline a little bit.
Just put the turkey on to kind of let it come up to temperature. Wherever it settles in is where it's going to settle in. I'm not really pressed at all on this cook or for this cook. Let's get this open. Oh yeah. It's looking good. Let me get you guys off of my mountain here so you can see a little closer. All
right. So now I have some work to do because I'm taking the camera off of the mount. Like I have it on the railing. I have it up in the air for you guys to see, and I'm pulling it off. So I'm going to stop this, split, and let's see. Now I gotta get cinematic, right?
All right,
and so this point here, I move the camera off to the side so that I can pan in and show you guys what's happening. So I'm gonna cut that clip.
A little closer.
Now that clip it didn't necessarily, I'm gonna say, warrant or need a transition, but I'm gonna put one in there anyway, just because.
My mount here so you can see a little closer.
All right, it just smooths things out.
All right, so plenty of smoke coming, rolling from the cooker.
And I'm gonna expand my timeline.
But turkey legs looking good so far. I'm gonna let them go for a while longer, and I'll just check on them again, maybe another half an hour or so.
All right, of course I gotta turn the camera around, so now I have to split.
Another half an hour or so.
I'm gonna split this, give myself a little transition time, and as the camera is moving around, I'll put this right here. There we go, and start there. And I don't think I need a transition
An hour
in
or
there.
So far, so good though. Woo!
So this is another candidate for the thumbnail.
Woo!
And we'll, right there, I'm going to take a snapshot.
So.
All right. I just can't help myself. We're going to put another transition in there just to smooth that out.
And I'll just check on them again, maybe another half an hour or so. So far, so good though. Woo! Like I said, Quentin, this one's for you. Maybe he'll stop giving me grief about not cooking on the big green egg. I do cook on the big green egg. I do use it.
All right. So there was another transition, and I didn't say hey, or another, cut, but I did say hey.
All right.
So I'm going to back this up a little bit, start the clip there, and we're going to put another transition in here. And background sound. I have a few of these transitions or sounds that I use for transitions. The way I think about it is kind of like how I remember Batman, it was like whoosh, or like there was so here's a ninja throwing star, and this is one of my favorite transitions. And what I do is when I put the transition file again, I put the sound for the transition in a voice file. So if I were doing a voiceover, it would go here, and then background music is here. So each of these layers, each of these is a track, and I layer different things on top of each other. But one of the good things about how I'm doing this is when I come back and I add the background music, I won't be bumping up against the say the track, but the information or the sound that I put there for the transition.
I do use it. All right. So I am back out at the big green egg.
And I'm going to slide again down my timeline.
And I'm going to put you on my mount here. There you go. All right. So I came out and I brought a thermometer with me this time. So I'm going to get this plugged in. Now that the cooker is coming up to temperature, it'll ramp up the temperature pretty quickly. So that I can monitor it coming up to temperature, I'm going to get the thermometer out on the grate. Oh yeah, we get some good color here.
Sorry, I blocked you guys there.
And I guess I've got the probe right up against the bone there. But so far, so good. Looking fantastic. Smelling good. I'm just going to leave the thermometer propped. Actually, I should turn it on first.
Now I'm setting the thermometer, so I'm going to cut that part out. And again, I'm kind of cheating. I'm looking at the bumps on here, which means, all right, there's a sound happening.
set the high temperature.
All right, so let's cut that part out. That's a kind of dead air.
Set the high temp.
And again, there was a cut in there, so this is on my own thing where I put a small transition in there, and I'm gonna drop this down and make it almost to the point where you don't even notice it.
Set the high temperature. Set it to 275. Really don't care what the temperature goes to. And the low, we'll set it to 215. And put it there.
All right. Some more dead space,
And
dead air.
put it there.
All right. So I'm going to cut this part out. Again, I do actually make my videos shorter, even as long as they already are.
And put it there. I'll say oddly enough, but funny enough. See, my thermometer is already set to turkey. Trying to think when the last time I cooked. Or what was the last thing I cooked. But it says turkey. Turkey. I guess I had it. Maybe it was cooking some chicken. Either way, it has been another half an hour. I will come back out here in about another half an hour to check the temperature and to see where we're at.
All right. So I'm going to cut out some of me reaching for the camera. And I will...
Right.
Here we go. Get myself ready to start talking. Cut out a couple seconds there. Put a transition in. I'll say rinse and repeat, but this is where having some of the stuff and doing it a bunch, it makes it a lot easier. So this time I'm going to put in the rake whoosh sound, what I've downloaded.
And to see where we're at. All right. So it's almost 2:30. So the turkey legs have been out here for about 2.5 hours. I feel like, okay, it's a little better. They've been out here for about 2.5 hours, and let me check them. Oh, look at that color. Hold up. I'm going to get y'all down in there.
All right.
Hold up. I'm going to get y'all down in. Right. So it's almost 2:30. So the turkey legs have been out here for about 2.5 hours. I feel like, okay, it's a little better. They've been out here for about 2.5 hours, and let me check them. Oh.
All right. Yep, you guessed it. Another thumbnail candidate. Take a snapshot there.
Oh, look at that color. Hold up. I'm going to get y'all down in there.
All right, so now I'm going to stop that there. I'm going to split it. And as, look, let me show you what I look at. It's like, all right, I'm pulling the camera off, and then I'm looking at the camera, and then I turn it around, and then I got to pan down. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I said the same exact thing. All right, so now we're going to stop it right there. And we're going to put a transition in. And this one, we're going to do, I'll say, like a reveal. So this one, and I want to say you'll find, or you'll figure out what transitions you like.
Get y'all down in there.
That one is a little different.
Oh, yeah. So at this point, I'm trying to decide. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to turn them over.
Expand my timeline a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to turn them over. Let's get some color on the underside. Get this kind of down in there. Oh, yeah. Come on. Woo-hoo. It's hot. It's hot. All right. So far looking good. I'm going to. Yeah, these are mine. I lick my fingers. I'm going to get the cooker closed back off, and I'll let it sit out here for a little while longer, maybe another half an hour or so, and then I'll come back. Actually, I'm going to just open up the top so we can get some more heat. So I'm opening up.
So I started saying it, and then I had to turn the camera around so you guys could see. So I'm going to cut out the
top. Actually, I'm going to just open up the top.
All right. And we'll split it there, and then I'll pick it up when I turn or get the camera turned. So there.
The top.
And we'll say split it, cut more of that out. So it'll work like
open
this.
Up the top. So I'm opening up the top there, get some more heat, help crisp up that skin.
All right, so
the top. So I'm opening up the top there, get some more heat.
I don't know if I want to cut more of that out.
The top there, get some more heat.
Let's do this. We'll split it. Move this out of the way. And I'll see if it makes sense.
Open up the top there, get some more heat.
And
actually, I'm going to just open up.
And I'm going to cut out some of the previous clip. Ooh. So this will make sense in a second.
And then I'll come back. Actually, I'm going to just open up the top there.
So if you guys saw, I said the top one in this clip and in this clip, but I took the piece out where I said the top in this clip, so it transitioned and it went smoothly because I'm saying the same thing twice. So I took that part out, and then this clip I'm going to delete as well. And let's make sure this flows.
And then I'll come back. Actually, I'm going to just open up the top there, get some more heat, help crisp up that skin, and we'll put a little more air in the inlet.
All right.
All right. I guess we'll give this another half an hour or so.
All right. So now this next bit.
And we are back out of the smoker. It's been almost another half an hour. So it's just about 3 o'clock. So we're looking at 3 hours so far.
I guess I didn't turn the mic on this clip. All right. I had to pause the video there, but let's see.
Just open up the top there, get some more heat, help crisp up that skin, and we'll put more air in the inlet. All right. I guess we'll give this another half an hour or so.
All right, so I don't know what happened with the mic there, but I must not have turned it on. Hopefully at some point in the clip I turn it on, but let's put the transition in here again. And you know, like I said, I have my favorites. And I'm going to drop this, and let's see. There's a tomahawk. Again, there's just different sounds that I've picked up over time that I know and use for certain things.
It's another half an hour or so. And we are back out of the smoker. It's been almost another half an hour. So it's just about 3 o'clock. So we're looking at...
All right, so because I know that the audio is kind of janky, and again, these are titles that I have saved from different things. Forgot to turn the mic back on. Sorry, not sorry. So we're going to put this down in the bottom right. And hopefully I do turn the mic on at some point. I'm going to expand this to make it a little bigger. And let's put this up. Let's see where I don't say where I move.
It's another half an hour or so. And we are back out of the smoker. It's been almost another half an hour. So it's just about 3 o'clock. So we're looking at...
All right, let's move this to the bottom left. And everything seems to be kind of on top of each other still. So I'm going to increase the spacing a little bit bigger, a little bit more. All right.
A half an hour or so. And we are back out of the smoker. It's been almost another half an hour.
And this entire clip, the audio is a little off. So I'm going to bump the sound up a little bit.
All right. I guess we'll give this another half an hour or so.
And there is a, let's say a tool, but I can select these two clips and let's see if this next clip.
How longer? I'll be back out here in a bit. Oh. Did I press the record button? Come on. Let's just get off the screen.
All right.
I did.
So these two clips, I'm going to select them at the same time. And then audio, under the audio options, I can select normalize audio. And what it'll do is it'll take the louder clip and it'll bring the softer clip up to the same level. Or, all right, so this is at 100 and this is at 130. So I bumped it up to 150, so I did okay.
All right, I guess we'll give this another half an hour or so. And we are back.
But the audio is different, so I'm going to bump this up. I want it a little louder, so let's do 160. So it's a little better as far as the level.
All right, I guess we'll give this another half an hour or so. And we are back out of the smoker.
But you can hear more background noise.
So it's just about 3 o'clock, so we're looking at 3 hours so far.
Like the air conditioners, you can hear the air conditioner in the background versus like in this clip where I'm standing right by the air conditioner, you can't hear it.
All right, I guess we'll give this another half an hour or so. And we are back.
All right, so we're going to zoom through this. This, again, is another candidate for...
Yeah, buddy. The cooker, I let the cooker get up too. It's sitting at about 300 degrees right now, so, you know, ramping up in temperature. Fantastic. I'm on.
I want I'll say the clip, but I want it to be one where I'm looking at the camera as well as whatever's in the background. And then, so let me just show you guys real quick. If I go to that working folder, and did I not take the snapshot? Maybe I didn't. There it is. All right, so I have this clip, and I would drop this here. This is not what I'm going to do, but I'll drop it here, and then I could zoom in on it again because I know what it is I'm looking for. 150. I bring this out just a little bit, and then move that there. And now I also want to leave some room so that I can put my title like over here off to the left, right? But that would be if I were doing that, but I'm not doing that right now. So we have...
Yes. I has excite. Let me get you guys in closer so y'all can see better.
All right, so after I stated I'm going to...
excite. Let me get you guys in closer so y'all can see better.
We're going to stop it, put a split, and once I get the camera down and off the mount,
Let me get you guys in closer so y'all can see better.
And right about there. Let me turn the camera around. Start the clip.
In closer so y'all can see better.
And then we got to do something cinematic, right?
Oh, yes. yes, look at that cup.
So we will start it right there where I'm off to the side. Boom.
Sight. Let me get you guys in closer so y'all can see better. Oh yes, look at that color. I'm gonna let these hang out.
Now this.
Oh yes, look at that color.
All right, that clip right there. Split that. And I'm gonna throw it up here in this working folder, right? Just for the time being. But what I'm gonna do is take this clip and I'm gonna move it to the beginning of the video so that you guys know what's coming and what it looks like. So we'll go back out to the beginning of the video and let's go start this.
Hey yo, this is Dash, and today I am out at the Big Green Egg. Yes, Quentin, the Big Green Egg. I'm cooking I'm gonna be smoking some turkey legs.
All right.
Legs. These turkey.
So now I have to determine if I want to.
I'm gonna be smoking some turkey legs.
All right, so we'll pull a split here, and I'm going to take this clip and we'll drop it right here. And this is what I was talking about when we make sure that if I make a change here early in the video, all of those things that we did, if I didn't turn on that thing called ripple editing, it would mess everything else up. And it didn't work. Why didn't it work? All right, everything moved that time, so let's make sure.
Turkey legs overnight. The brine was a quart.
And this is what I'm talking about. It messed up all of these things. So let's do this. And one more time. So what I did was I undid the things that I did. And let's move that there. And let's see.
Water. Since I only had 2 turkey legs, I just did a quart of water.
All right, so that is fine. What I did was I undid the things that I did, and I'm going to drop this here and then put this in here, and everything moved that time. So now,
cooking some.
Oops, shoot. My
green egg. I'm cooking some. Oh yes, look at that color. I'm gonna be smoking some turkey legs.
All right, now my problem is I put this in the wrong spot. So now I'm gonna split that and I move this out of the way, bring everything back, and I wanna make sure that all of these things are still
turkey legs. I just did a quart of.
All right, so that's still fine. So let's put this into the second spot there.
Turkey legs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, look at that color. These turkey legs are look.
All right. So now I go back towards the end of the video. That's the end. That's where the clip was. So now it's been, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, and I'm at the almost 10-minute mark.
Oh yes, look at
of
that
the video.
color. I'm gonna let these hang out. It's at 156 right now, and we're not there yet. But I'm gonna let these go to 175 at least. Turkey legs, they can stand, or dark meat in general, can stand to go to a higher temperature than, let's say, breast meat. So I'm gonna let it cook for a while longer. I'll be back out here in a bit. For a while longer, I'll be back out here in a bit. Oh.
All right, so you guys know the routine at this point. Now I am going to start this clip right here, and we're going to put a transition in there. Let's do here. We'll do this smear transition, something a little different. sound, and we'll pull back the bamboo swing. Whoop. Oh, shoot. Just the one. I selected multiple clips. All right.
I'll be back out here in a bit. Oh. Did I press the record button? Come on, let's just get off the screen.
All right, so now I'm going to split this and copy it and put it into my bloopers, because that was kind of par for the course when it comes to bloopers. But I'm going to leave it in.
I did press the record button. All right. So, my life be lifing. Here we go again. I did press the record button. All right. So, my life be lifing. Here we go again. So I have to pick up taste lesson number 3 from school. The turkey legs are at, what was that, 162 degrees. I'm going to close the smoker off. Close that and close that. But in the meantime, oh yeah, look at that. Woo, buddy. It look good. Dripping clear.
So let's cut that.
It look good. Dripping clear.
All right, so I just pan the camera around, so I'm gonna split that there and pick it up when I start talking. So let's do that, and let's see if I need a transition. Who am I kidding? I always put one in there. It's just what I do. And
dripping clear. I'm gonna make the game time decision. Should I leave him in here or should I take him out? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I want him to get sick.
All right.
I'm gonna make the game time decision. Should I leave him in here or should I take him out?
You guys guessed it. Another thumbnail candidate. So we're going to pause that right there and take a snapshot.
What do you guys think?
Well, we shall see.
I want them to get, say, crispier. I'm gonna leave them in there. Actually, I'm gonna take one in the house. I'm gonna leave one out here. So at least we'll have one that
so
can be survived, or one that'll be decent in case it doesn't pan out. All right, I'm gonna get one taken off, and I'll join you, or I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so.
Okay, so now we're going to.
I'm gonna get one taken off, and I'll join you, or I'll see you guys in a bit.
All right, so of course we are going to stop this here. Get a transition. Let's do this. Sound. Let's do Ninja Throw. Oh.
In a bit. All right, so let's get this out of here. Ooh, yeah, that's still hot. Damn it. Right over there. All right, so this is how I folded my foil. My plan. Pick this up, put this in here. Oh yeah, hot as hell. Wait a lip. Wait a lip. Whew. So there's still some radiant heat going on in here, but there's still like a place for it to escape. All right, I'm gonna take this in the house. Everything is closed off inside of the cooker. So hopefully the temperature dies down, but we'll see what this looks like in about an hour when I get back with taste test number 3.
All right, so we're going to end out this clip. And that there, and we'll pick up the next clip. Of course, you guys know, transition.
With taste test number 3. All right.
And sound. Oh. Yeah, let's do this one. Timer game.
Taste test number 3. All right, so
that's kind of aggressive. So let's drop this down and drop the volume.
Test number 3. All right.
Still kind of abrasive and aggressive. Let's drop that down to 25%.
With taste test number 3. All right, so it is 4:30. Moment of truth. And it's about an hour. Oh, we got some good darkening in there. And the temperature is at 185. So it's nothing, it's not too crazy. All right. Looks like it was a decent decision to leave it sit out here. I'm going to get my...
Though I should have wrapped it.
Decision to leave it sit out here.
So we're going to put a note here. We're going to split this and put in a note to self. Wrap and leave out there next time. The one that I wrapped up turned out better than the one that I didn't wrap up. Should have wrapped and left it out there. The one that I wrapped up and the one that I wrapped up turned out a little better. So it wasn't dried out. We liked the one that I wrapped up more. So if I would have done the combination, it probably would have been better. I should have wrapped and left it out there. All right, and I'm going to select this again. I gotta mess with the spacing. 5 and alignment again.
To leave it sit out here. I'm gonna get my probe turned off. And I'm going to get this taken in the house.
All right, so that dead space. We'll get rid of that. Split. So I'm putting the probe down on my, let's see, table there. But do I probe it again? Why do I have the thermometer in my hand? Oh. I take some pictures and stuff for Instagram and or for YouTube shorts and stuff like that. So I'm going to cut this out. All right, so video, more video. Oh yeah, take a couple things for like YouTube shorts and stuff. All right, so we will start that. Cut that clip out.
All right.
So now, I closed the lid when I was doing that stuff for like the shorts. So we're gonna cut all of that out and get back to here.
All right.
And it looks like nothing ever happened. You guys know. Let's put a little transition in there.
All right.
Oh, that one is just do a crossfade. This one is a little more subtle.
All right. You know, had to get some additional content, but get some.
All right, there we go. You guys know. Yep.
Wow, smoked turkey leg. Smoked turkey leg.
All right. So let's stop that there. And let's see, do I do anything else towards the end? Nope. I just kind of close everything off. Turn off the camera so we can delete that. Boom. And when I get back in the house.
All right, gang. So nothing fancy.
Boom. Start this clip there. You already know we're going to do
turkey leg. All right, gang.
And transition sound.
Ow, smoked turkey leg. All right, gang. So nothing fancy here with this one. I am going to find a fork and a knife. I am going to find a fork and a knife.
All right, because you don't need to see me rummaging around my kitchen. Into the dishwasher.
Fork or knife.
Cut that clip.
Okay, knife. Yes.
And you guessed it. A transition.
Find a fork and a knife. Yes. I'm using one of the most obnoxious steak knives I have.
Alright. So now with this, I'm going to lengthen the clip just a little bit. When you put in the transition, it takes a few seconds from the last clip and a few seconds from the next clip. So what I do is I want to create a little bit more space in there. So I'm going to open this up a few frames. So let's do 5 frames. 5 frames, and you see that movement there. And let's check and see.
Find a fork and a knife. Yes.
And this also, because I started saying I guess, and I cut myself off when I say guess. So I'm going to hold this clip, and I can see these numbers here, and I'm going to drag it 5 frames. The transition that I put in there is 15 frames long, so it's basically taking 7 frames from this and 7 frames from this. So let's see here if this worked out.
Find a fork and a knife. Yes. I'm using one of them.
All right, and we're going to move it a little bit more. So 12, and we'll do another 5 frames.
The fork and a knife. Yes.
And that's a little better. So that's good enough. If I spent, and I have an 80% rule when it comes to editing, I can spend 20% of the time and get 80% there, or I can spend another 80% of the time to get that last additional 20% done. And usually, I'm trying to get these done in between doing different things. So, as opposed to spending a crazy amount of time editing. Now, mind you, this 20-some-odd minute video has already taken me almost over an hour to do.
The other one is the one that I left on. So I'm going to cut a piece of the turkey leg that I took off an hour ago, and it smells fantastic. Oh my goodness.
right, so now one of the things that I'll do is, because I'm
I
here,
was wondering what's the obnoxious steak knives I have.
and I'm in a static position in my kitchen, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let's see if there's anything noteworthy that happens in this clip. I don't believe so. I was just standing here eating. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to do a static shot, and let's go 150. And 150 is too much, so let's do 125. And we'll just kind of focus on me in the video. And I feel like that's there we go. Let's do 115, 115. All right, so you can see the turkey in the video, and then here, my head is not cut off or nothing else is anything. So, all right, that should be good.
That I took off.
So,
and it smells fantastic.
This is where I was.
Honestly, I feel like this one might be a little underdone. It could have been a little more tender, but flavor is there. The brine I looked at, where I read, it basically said that the level of brine gave the turkey leg more of a hammy flavor, and it definitely tastes fantastic. There's decent smoke ring there.
And majority of the editing video process is me watching the video back multiple times to see if there's different things I want to, take out or leave in.
Or a little longer.
This is all part of what makes the video editing part suck.
175 degrees or so. Now this other one, when I just tempted, it was at 185. That's where it's at.
See, I liked the one that I left out on the smoker a lot more. My wife and my daughter preferred the one that I wrapped up. So I think if I were to do this again, I would do a mixture of the two, where I would wrap it and leave it out there sitting for a little while.
The skin is honestly a bit rubbery.
All right. So at this point, I know that there's nothing of serious note that happened. I just was talking.
Great flavor, and again, the recipe that I used, which was,
and because I'm talking about it again,
which was actually, I want to say, derived from a bigger recipe. The recipe that I used called for 10 turkey legs. I only had 2, so I took the recipe and I put it in. I quartered it. It was what I found was a gallon of water, a cup of, actually they just did a cup of kosher salt, and then some other seasonings, and white sugar. I did a quart of water, a quarter cup of brown sugar, a quarter cup of white sugar. It was a quart of water, a quarter cup, a 1/4 cup of kosher salt, a quarter cup pack of brown sugar, and then it was a half of a quarter cup of white sugar.
What I could do is edit where I stumbled, but I'm going to leave it in there because I'm being lazy after editing already for an hour and a half.
Some additional flavor other than just salt and sugar. So, the brine, I brined it it was overnight, and I'd do it again. This turned out great. I actually might keep that in my back pocket to start brining some chickens if I decide to cook the chickens either on a rotisserie or just smoke them.
All right, I'm going to add this is why I have this foreshadowing that I can just pull up, say whenever I need to. But we're going to drop this down to 3 seconds. Actually, we'll do 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Because I know I'm going to be doing, like, using that similar brine again.
Either on a rotisserie or just smoke them. What? Good?
And if you blink, you'll miss that foreshadowing.
What's the winner? Anyway. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out, watching this cook. I'll see you guys next time.
All right, and that's the end. Boom. We're going to end that out. Now, don't do a transition at the end because the transition that I use, or not transition, the little thing at the end where I use my daughter and she's saying "Mo butter baby," there is a clip in there already where the transition, like a fade. So
I'll see you guys next time.
I don't have to do anything. All right. So now the next thing I'm going to do is, right now our video went from like 25 minutes, 20 whatever, to 18 minutes long. And I am going to add the background sound. So let's add background music. And I have some music that I use pretty often. It is, no, we'll just use this one. So I have some music that I got from my younger brother. He produces music, and let's see. I don't know what I want to use from his, but I have some songs from him. So we will drop these in.
Ready.
And I usually put the music, start the music after the intro.
Alright, so
now that's too loud. So we'll drop this down to 4. So it is, in fact, background music. See what I was saying about this clip? Because it was quiet, the background music will pick up, and it just does that pretty naturally. So I can look here and I see that this is where it starts to drop off.
And munch on. I can't remember the last time I smoked turkey legs, but the last time I did
at this point,
they didn't turn out
I don't
kind of
really
like
care
a
about
county
what I'm
fair
saying.
or like a state fair. Turkey legs would be, or like the turkey legs you would get from like an amusement park or something.
I'm going to end that. Come on. All right, so we're dropping that one. And all right, sorry about that. I had to do some things real quick, but at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and add the background, say music, background sounds, and we are going to add a few from my brother.
Fair turkey legs would be, or like the turkey legs you would get from like an amusement park or something like that, like a Six Flags or even.
All right, again, I'm going to drop the volume down. I always change the volume every time I do this because
like that,
sometimes
like
some of the videos are louder than others
World.
or quieter.
I'm hoping that with the brine and just letting them smoke, I have no timetable for this.
All right, so let's zoom out on the timeline. And oh, this is another good one of the songs.
Back out here in about.
Drop the volume down. And the whole thing is you.
Maybe it's cooking some chicken. Either way, it has been another half an hour. I will come back out here in about another half an hour to check the temperature and see where we're at. All right. So it's almost 2:30. So
let's get to the louder part.
They've been out here for about 2.5 hours, and let me check them. Oh, look at that color. Hold up. I'm gonna get y'all down in there. Oh, yeah. So at this point, I'm trying to decide.
And I can hear it, and it's, say, just faint enough. I don't want it to be like, oh, I want you to barely be able to hear the song, or barely be able to hear that there's music behind.
Come on, let's just get off the screen. I did press the record button. All right. So, my life be lifing. Here we go again. So I have to pick up taste tester number 3 from school. The turkey legs are at, what was that, 162 degrees.
Now this song has a kind of a long outro, so I'm going to trim it, cut it down, and I'm going to do, this is one of the songs that I use regularly, and I'll just put that, I don't know if, let's see, let's do this one. No, I want one that's going to go from here, so we're at the, it's like 14 minutes. I want one that could be like the end of the song, or excuse me, end of the video. And this one almost fits the bill. It's not quite long enough, but I think it'll be all right. Just use all of my brother's tracks
like
today.
This one might be a little underdone. It could.
And let's drop the volume down.
Flavor is there. The brine I looked at, or I read, it basically said that the level of brine, first cup of kosher salt, a quarter cup pack of brown sugar, and then it was a half of a quarter cup.
All right, so now what I'm going to do is this track,
which was actually,
I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to split this right here. Split it. That's not. All right, so I split that there and I'm going to copy it. And then we're going to trim this out right here and bring this up here so that it flows. We're just going to extend it in the middle there.
Quarter cup of white sugar.
And then at the end, I'm going to cut this and then I'm going to fade it out, a 1 second fade out, so that, now let's zoom in to see where it ends, and we'll drag this to right where taste tester number 3 is.
See you guys next time.
Mo butter, baby. All right, and it faded out where I needed it to fade out. So let's go back and we'll save this as smoked turkey legs. All right, now usually what I would do at this point is render the file, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new project, and I'm going to show you guys how I do the thumbnail. So that working folder. And I think we're going to do this one. Boom. And I will, I'm going to zoom in. Let's go 150%. And we'll move this up right there. Nope. That's the wrong one. We got to do a static. 125 so we can get more. What I want to do is, I want you to be able to see the big green egg, the turkey leg, and I have room to write what I need to write on this side of the screen. So we got that. And then if you notice, my titles all have a similar color scheme. So let's do this. Smoked turkey legs. All right. And I'm going to move this left. And we'll make this a little smaller. And we'll put the left. Still covering my face a bit. So how do we adjust that? That's not too bad. let's do this. Let's see. Put this in the center. Drop this down. Come on. Ooh. Oh, let's do this. Put this. No. Make this a little smaller. And copy this. Take this out. So I'm trying to put this above. And take out the angle. And then we'll put this one, and we'll layer it over top of it, and we'll just put the word legs. I'm gonna put this little take legs down here. Still not happy with it. All right. Let's try this again down here. Make this smaller. The whole thing is obviously, you know, the thumbnail, you're trying to get it to pop and people to be able to see what it is you're doing and everything like that. But there we go. And all right, I was gonna add like big green egg, but I'm not gonna worry about it. All right, now at this point, all I have to do is I take a picture of this that I created, and then that will be what I upload to YouTube. All right, so I'm going to open up the, I want to save, change it to the title. We're going to save this as the smoked turkey legs on the big green egg. And I always save my thumbnails in case there is a misspelling or something, and I need to quickly go back in and pull it back out. So I save my thumbnails just to make it easier for me in case I have to make a correction or something like that. But all right, so it's pulling up all of the files associated with the video, and I'm going to double check everything, make sure my timeline is good, nothing glaring, and we are going to share it, render it, and get it done. All right, so I know you probably didn't answer this, didn't want this, and there are only a few of you that this will actually be interesting to. I know it was really rather long and drawn out, but I want to show you what the actual process is on editing and, I won't say filming, but editing a video. So hopefully that gave you some insight. Victor, this one was for you. And thank you so very much as always for watching. I'll see you next time.
More butter, baby.